Hey, this is Scott Jones coming to you with more information. And today is another installment of my series, Magical Correspondences 101, or Magick101 Correspondences. And today we're going to talk about Venus. Yes, the planet of love. Frankie Avalon was a artist, I believe, back in the 1950s. He has a song called Venus. And a line from that song is, Venus, goddess of love that you are. And that pretty much sums up what Venus is about. When you think of Venus, think of love, attraction, beauty, artistic grace, natural rhythm and grace that's given to the person, charm, the type of beauty that inspires. Have you ever seen something or someone or something that was so beautiful it seemed like it actually boosted or increased your life force? Well, that's what Venus is about. And for the magician, if you want to increase your attractiveness, your beauty, the things that would make you attractive to a potential lover or partner, Venus is the planet to invoke and work with. The Hebrew word for Venus is Nuaghe, Noagh, and it means beauty, shining beauty. And of course, when you get into Venus, you get into the Greek goddess Aphrodite and her three graces. And when you get into Aphrodite, you get into the power of love and emotion and feeling to the point where it's magical. For another thing that Venus corresponds to is pure emotion, pure feeling, put to the service of the magician. Have you ever started on a project and you had everything, but you just didn't have the emotional motivation or the energy of feeling? Well, Venus can give you that. Another thing that Venus corresponds to is vegetation. Everything that you see grow in nature. Think of green, fresh, natural force. For vegetables and plants, in a way, they store natural energy. When you think of Venus, think of rhythm and color and art. Think of the subtle things, refined things, aesthetics. Another thing that Venus corresponds to is cultural symbols, the symbols of a particular race or tribe, symbols that move and inspire the masses. Venus also corresponds to money. Notice how money is green, at least here in the United States. But money represents value and exchange. For when you give me money, I take it based on the fact that I know it will be valuable somewhere else. So then you get into faith and trust and value, and also artistic value. Whenever a person puts forth their human hand to make something beautiful, Venus is involved. When you get into the angels of Venus, we get into the Archangel Aniel. His name means pleasure of God. And Aniel can teach you how to channel your pure emotion, your pure feeling into art and other things that may help your community or your race or your tribe. The Archangel Aniel, he can tell you about the mysteries of love, why you may be drawn to a particular person. Maybe you and that person were lovers in another life. He can tell you the powers of sympathy, how to connect to something through feeling with it, putting yourself in its shoes. And this opens up all types of avenues of nature spirits and natural magic. Archangel Aniel can be a big help with that. The group of angels that govern the sphere of Venus is called the Sahihishanim, or as you may know them, the principalities. And the principalities are a group of angels responsible for leaders of mankind, examples of mankind, personalities who are in a certain time to stimulate a certain movement. Have you ever heard of the phrase, an idea whose time has come? Well, the principalities govern that. They also govern the major personalities of history, people who come into our history who make a difference, who progress us, who inspire us through their example. The principality angels are govern that. They also govern presidents, governors, mayors, people who are leaders over communities. Show them how to guide the community in the right way. The spear on the tree of life, Magick, corresponds to Venus. It means victory, the ability to overcome by putting forth what we today call the best version of ourselves. Moses is an example of Magick because Moses had a speech impediment, but through faith in God and God's inspiration and God's help and God's power, Moses came to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." He became a symbol of inspiration and power, which eventually led to the liberation of the Hebrews from Egyptian bondage. So when you think of personalities that do that, think about Moses and think about the power of Venus to inspire love of your race or your culture or your tribe or your nation, or love of your higher self so that you overcome the addictions and the problems of the lower self. Well, we'll talk more about Venus, and one of the things you need to know is Venus corresponds to copper. And copper is, as you know, a conductor of electricity. And it is that way because it's fluid, it's soft. It allows itself to be, if you will, used by other energy so as to carry it to its natural place. Well, Venus is a lot about that. How to take natural energy and conduct it and direct it to the right aim. For the magician, this is important. Venus corresponds to the day Friday, and it also corresponds to the crucifixion. For what higher love can be expressed that was expressed by Jesus Christ on Calvary? So Calvary, the crucifixion, Golgotha, the place of the skulls, Jesus' sacrifice, is the highest manifestation of Venus. Well, we're about to get into the moon next, so buckle up. I hope these little things about Venus helps you, and this is Scott Jones. Talk to you later.